All right, ladies
Yeah.
and gentlemen, it is time for the grand finale of the year, the final podcast episode in this quote unquote season. And what other way to finish it with behemoths, dude? Actual legends. We got legendary personalities with us today. We got Piece of Cheese 87. How are you doing, bro?
Doing pretty great today.
You excited, dude?
Uh, yeah.
Well, I'm glad you are, bro. Um,
I had to think about it, but I think I am.
Alongside with Peace, we got Kady with us today. How's it going, bro?
I'm so excited, Japan.
Yes, dude.
I'm shaking in excitement.
It's gonna
Thank you
be
for having me.
yeah, it's gonna be a poggers podcast. There's a lot of juice today. And last but not least, ladies and gentlemen, we got Patrick with us. You got Patrick, motherfuckers. What else do you want, man? Like the hell?
Hello, hello.
How's it
Thanks
going,
for
man?
having me. I'm doing pretty well.
Hell yeah. But yeah, today it's actually gonna be a very spicy episode. We intend this to be the sort of elephant crew episode, where we have I would say majority. Well, not majority. What am I saying? Anyways, like fucking the I want to make your team here with us. Some representatives, motherfuckers, and no, yeah, I'm very looking forward to it as the final episode. There's a lot of topics, so I hope we do reach the 2 hour time fine, but it should be fine. Anyways,
It, it
yeah,
might be worth it to mention the non-elephant in the room, which is Yo-Yo, who is one of the biggest members of the elephant crew, but he's not here for the podcast today. But shout outs to him for like carrying us pretty much.
absolutely. Yo-Yo is in the background for majority of the part of the I want to make her team, and you always see him like fucking throwing out the updates in the Discord. Big man. All right. All right. Let's start off the podcast by talking about our origin stories. Actually, now since the piece has actually been in the podcast before, and like in fucking Japan years, like 2019 or some shit. We're actually not going to talk about the origin story, but I will ask since the last episode because we actually haven't really talked about it because it didn't exist back then. I actually wanted to ask you about the what was it? The fucking I wanna the make sandwich, dude. I don't think you finished it in 2019, did you?
Yeah, that was when I released it. I think last podcast I said that was when I announced I was going to finish it that year, and I did. So
Oh shit, yeah, true. I remember that.
exciting.
Really nice. You fucking you were really determined, and how satisfied were you to finish that project that year?
Oh, it was like a load off of my back for sure. Like that was the project that was looming over me for years and years. Like I thought I'd never finish it, but I did, and I'm glad that it's out now because I don't really have any projects anymore that have just been sitting around unfinished.
Really nice. Yeah, that's a rarity in the community, I would say. That would be like what, like 5 years or some shit since you've been making that game.
Let's see.
It's been a long time. I do remember the
What's nine
beta.
minus three? I think it's 6 years.
Yeah, that is 6 years, dude. That's fucking insane. Yeah, that's really really cool. But yeah, no. Aside from that, did you come up with more stuff? Were you in Hydro Homies or some shit? I don't know. You
No,
were like
I
in.
actually haven't really been part of many collabs recently. I think Nag 2 was really the last big game I was a part of. Um, right now, the only game making I'm doing is for the Secret Santa game. But aside from that, I haven't really had an individual project in a while.
Do you intend to in the future or no shot, bro?
Maybe. I mean, I've like tried to motivate myself to like start up another adventure game or something, but it's kind of hard.
Really nice.
Because I don't know. Like I don't have as much free time as I used to, so fan
Right.
games aren't as much of a priority as they used to be.
You know, yeah, it's actually one of the topics later on that like we talk about like needle and shit, and because you were one of the guys who actually like made needle like a lot of needle back in the day, but like nowadays just like fucking
I wouldn't say a lot. I released 3 big needle games, um, like
Mm-hmm.
3 years in a row, and then I kind of stopped caring about needle after that, because I feel like I felt like I had made everything I wanted to make at that point when it comes to needle games. I mean, I don't. You might consider the adventure, like jungle adventure,
Right.
to be in like a needle game. I think of those more of like a gimmick showcase. Just
Experimental type
like
shit.
yeah, exactly.
Yeah. They really did pop off. I remember. And no, yeah, that's great that you fucking still are trying to like build that motivation up. So that's pretty cool. All right, now that let's go on to an actual origin story. Now that we got that out of the way, let's start with let's start with you, Pat. Well, how's your origin story into fan games? How did it how
All
did
right,
it come
let me
to
try
be?
to. I'll try to be brief. So I really liked difficult platformer like Flash games, especially those with
Okay.
like level editors. I would like play those in the library at school and stuff. That was really fun. And then one day I googled and found I want to be the guy. And
Oh
then
wow.
gradually I got more interested in that in the fan games. And then I made I want to be the Patrick, which was a lot of fun. My first like learning game maker. That was a lot of fun. Then I took a short break, and then I came back. I kind of rediscovered fan games through Twitch, through 10 Shots, who was running I Want
Really?
to Be the Guy. And then he also played like Churach, and I was like, whoa, that's a fan game. It looks really good. And then I think I also found Celebrate 100, and from there it just kind of spiraled in. I think I found Wolsk streaming and everyone else streaming, and then it spiraled from there.
Yeah, see, usually people find I want to be the guy and stuff like that, like through YouTube and other sort of medium. But you found it through Google, like out of nowhere.
I was just Googling like hard platformer games because I'm like, I need more.
Ah, hell yeah.
Yeah, that's pretty similar to me. I think like I don't remember exactly what I was looking for. It was either like Cat Mario videos or like Super Meat Boy or like one of those Flash games like the Unfair Platformer or something. But I was looking for those kind of videos, and that's how I found I Want to Be the Guy.
Yeah, dude, if you really think about it, it all comes back to Mario, dude. That's actually just the truth. But no, yeah, that's fucking sick. I do know that you're one of the older members in the community, like for sure. Like you were back in the Kane forum days. That's when like you made I want to be the Patrick and stuff like that.
Yeah, Peace was around maybe even longer than I was, I think.
Really?
But yeah,
That true?
maybe about the same.
I was like a little baby child, so was I even really around? I don't know.
Like in the Karen forums and shit, or no? You were just in the in
I
the,
mean,
in the
yeah, I
chatting.
was on the can forums. I dropped a steaming pile of shit on my first game with the SpongeBob boss, and Yo Sniper made a video about it, saying it's the worst thing he's ever seen. I cried, and I I deleted the forum post because I was so ashamed.
I think
That's
I
funny
think
as shit.
finding out that the game from the Yo Sniper video was made by Beast, that's just like a classic moment.
That was fucking sick. But no, yeah, like fucking. I want to be the Patrick, right? How did it get received back then? Did it also get shit on or what?
I think it got received pretty well by other forum members. People said it was good. Someone added it to their forum post of like fan games that are worth giving a go, which I was very happy about.
Nice.
I was very personally satisfied with it too. I'm like, yes, this is exactly what I want to make. Um, and then Kayan kind of gave some negative feedback to fan games in general. He's like, oh, a lot of fan games are garbage. And then there's a forum post of that, and that kind of discouraged me. And I was also doing other things as well, so I had to take a break.
So
I
how's
actually,
yeah?
I was just gonna. I actually really liked I Want to Be the Patrick back in the day when I played it. Um, Although the Sonic area to the left, wasn't there like an impossible obstacle or something in that?
I mean, it ended kind of abruptly. I don't think there was anything impossible.
Oh, okay. I remember really liking the Super Mario World castle. Like that was, I think that even like holds up today as like a really good adventure area. But then like afterwards, there's this like factory area with the P blocks with like really bad platforming, and I think that's where I gave up at this point.
Yeah, it's bad, but I liked it. I'm glad you liked the Mario. I forget which medley used one of the screens from the Super Mario World Castle, but my medley did. It was pretty cool.
Speaking of Kain's dislike of fun games, that's also like a pretty fun part of history when I think this was like around the time Maker came out, when like Kain started answering some more fun game questions and was actually quite surprised. Like, because generally we kind of believed that Kain just dislikes fun games from some of the posts from back in the day. And as it turns out, I think that wasn't really all that true, like, after the years.
Oh yeah, no,
Like,
he
their
saw
opinion
the
kind of...
potential of Fangames, yeah, for sure.
Yeah, I think nowadays he's pretty positive about them.
He definitely used to be more like sour about them. I think like in the first few years of fan games, he kind of thought they all sucked and he didn't like them. But I think he's opened up to them now.
I think he was the kind of guy to take a look at Needle and he's like, yeah, that's not right, dude. Like Ella Yo Sniper did.
I mean, I think that was pretty much before Needle.
I think there was still like those hard ass Needle rooms back in the day as well, like with the intricate jumps.
I remember a KN forum user named Reply Code Alpha was making these like pseudo Needle games back in the day before Needle was really a thing, and they got a lot of shit for the games that they made because people thought they were too hard. And to be fair, those games actually are like really ass, but you know, it's like a precursor to Needle games, I guess.
Classic, yeah, that's classic. Speaking of classic, right? I haven't even seen I Want to Be the Patrick. Like, can you describe to me, bro? Is it like a Pog or is it like an adventure game?
It's like a very old school Kane Forums game. There's like a YouTube video you can watch Rawrzar Let's Play
Ooh,
it. The
nice.
ultimate retro experience. I watched Rawrzar back in the day too. Yeah.
Hell yeah. No, yeah, dude, absolute classic, those motherfuckers. Back
Like,
in the game.
if I remember, Patrick is very much in that, like when fun games basically started, the very first style that kind of happened was basically just trying to do what Guy did, right? Which was a lot of them were non-linear in some form. And I think Patrick starts with also like several paths.
Yeah, it starts with like two paths, just as awkward as it is in the original I Want to Be the Guy. And then every single area, there's like Sonic, there's Mario World, then there's like Zelda Link to the Past, and then there's like, yeah, Sonic again. So everything's like a retro game.
Do you still like that game after all these years, or?
It's definitely a very soft spot for me because I loved
Yeah.
it, and I had such a fun time making it. I even recreated the first world in I Want to Make It. That's says something, I shouldn't think.
You know, I imagine it's like a pretty charming adventure game because it's like old as hell.
Yeah.
Yeah, really nice. All right, now let's go on to Kady's origin story. How'd you come about into Fangames, bro?
My memory is not very good, so I'm not gonna remember very fine details.
Okay.
I'm pretty sure, like I played I Want to Be That Guy, or tried playing it, and then Bashi, and then I found like, because I used to like search for freeware platforming games and stuff like that, and then I found like streams of, maybe I found like a Bashi speedrunner, maybe Kale, I don't know, don't remember.
Okay.
And maybe they hosted like Para. But basically, I got into the community through streams. Watched a lot of Para back in the day, and I guess I decided to start trying them. Played the games that people recommended as like nice beginner games. This was like around
2013, 2014.
2013.
Okay.
Yeah, mid 2013, and played games like Dark Blue starting out, and went from there. And then I guess I just got in. I always wanted to like try making games, but I never had like the motivation to get into it. And Fangames with like the pre-made engine made it really easy to start learning that kind of stuff. So I went ahead with that.
Hey,
I
bro.
remember I just I remember asking on a Twitch chat how to play music on the room.
Oh, I asked questions in Twitch chat too because I didn't know where else to ask. I didn't know about the
Yeah.
forums yet, so I just asked
That's
in Paris
beautiful.
chat
Yeah,
when
that's
Clayson
beautiful.
was around. And
Bro, I've actually always wondered about that. How did you get into what's it called, like Fangame dev in general? Because I think Reach Heaven is like it's like relatively old. I would say like 2014, like early 2014 ish.
Yeah, I probably started it like early 2014. I guess I just saw that people were making all these fan games. I was like, I want to try this, and then downloaded Game Maker and was very lost at first. I honestly have no idea how I started learning.
Yeah, no, and then you rolled. You made like one of the better Needle games back in the day. It was really huge.
Yeah, the game took a while to finish.
Yeah,
I
I
think.
imagine. Yeah.
Like there were times where I would go like almost a month without working on it, but I asked Para to play test like through the game
Yes.
twice before like the release because I guess I wanted feedback and wanted just to see someone play it. I'm not really sure. Sometime like eventually I got invited into like the Fangame Skype groups. I'm not sure
Mhm.
how that happened. Thinking back on it. Also, Hito asked me like pretty early on if I wanted to help work on balloons because I guess he was having
Oh, it goes way back, bro. Oh my
yeah like
god.
2000, late 2014 if I had to guess, maybe early 2015.
Okay.
And yeah, I guess we know how that's going. I mean, the game is it's going. Uh,
Yeah, I can't wait until March 2020.
um, yeah, I don't know. And then once I like got more into the Skype groups, I had more contacts to ask for help. Clayson was a huge help early on. I think he was my main like teacher, fan game
Really
teacher,
nice.
on how to make fan games, and yeah, it was huge help. If it wasn't for him, I probably would not have kept making.
Clayson is like the wise old sage of the community.
Yeah,
Yeah.
he's one of the grandfathers, bro. If you really think about it.
And I guess going forward a bit more, like I guess I got more into Needle over time and made a few Needle games. Also worked on a few collab projects like Run the Marathon was a classic
Mhm.
one.
Mhm.
And then after that, I tried like for a few years. I tried multiple times, like started working on a bigger adventure game. Um, some of them went further than the others, but I never like got super far into a project like that. I felt like I had to commit to it, and always lost motivation. I probably have like 4 or 5 projects that had like a really, I guess,
Yeah.
interesting start, but I always had some problem with it or
I've
never managed
yeah,
to keep at it.
I've fallen into that trap so many times, dude. Like I've always wanted to make like an adventure game. I'd be like, oh, dude, it's a fucking huge, unique adventure game. But then after you try to fucking make something and like code and like program and like try to come up with your visuals and stuff like that, you're just like, yeah, I don't know about that, bro.
There was one, I think the one that got the furthest was making with Clayson. It was like a
Ooh.
Metroidvania kind of thing. When it had like 30 rooms or so, 40 rooms made, a lot of the base mechanics done, but I was having some design problems and I feel like, I don't know, just somehow
Society
didn't
happened.
work. Yeah, it just didn't happen.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, I know how
So
that's like.
I feel like I feel like the games I have out don't really represent the design that I can make nowadays, or like what I of my
What was
skill.
the
But
last project that you made? Sorry to cut you off.
I mean, I worked. I think after like Potato Chew, I don't think I've released a
Oh
solo
wow,
game.
really?
Well, I want to be the PS. Maybe was after.
Oh,
Yeah,
true.
yeah.
PS.
But like
Hell yeah.
for solo games, I think Potato Chew was the last one.
Okay.
And then I worked on more like collab stuff after that, because I think I do have a much easier time working like as a group, because it helps me stay motivated.
I actually wanted to ask how I Want to Be the PS came into fruition, because that is a brilliant game, by the way. It's a really good game. I would say so.
So in the OFR chat group, we like everyone was kind of like talking about everyone making their own Rukito game, and then over time it kind of like a lot of people started, but over time it died down. I think RO also came from that, if I'm not mistaken.
Yep.
Oh my goodness.
And then Pat like didn't really want to work on his anymore, and he had like 2 nice stages done, and I had like 3 stages done on mine, and so we decided to like merge them, and then yeah, we like polished up the game, finished some more content, and released it. I'm pretty happy with the game.
Yeah. I wish that I think I tried a little bit to get Skull and Wolfie to merge their games too, but then they ended up just finishing it independently, and they turned out good. So.
Oh my goodness. Can you imagine? That'd be a fucking huge bundle of a Rukito game.
But this was back when they didn't have as much content.
Right. Yeah, if anyone in chat doesn't even know about I Want to Be the PS, because I frankly think that it's not really talked to about as often as other Rukito games. I would definitely recommend it. It's amazing. It's just amazing, dude. But yeah, no, I guess that's it from the origin stories. Let's go on to the other topics now. I actually wanted to ask Pat about his recent indie development and his progress with Parabox. His Parabox game, dude. Hell yeah.
Oh, okay.
But yeah, if you guys actually no, I'll let you introduce what Parabox is, because you know way more than I do.
So the past almost 4 years now, gosh, it's been a long time. I've been working on a indie puzzle game, not a fan game, called Patrick's Parabox, and it has my name in the title for some reason, because it's an alliteration, that's why. And it's a puzzle game. It's like a recursive Sokoban box pushing puzzle game, and it won some awards, which I'm super happy about, and it's going to be released hopefully early next year is the plan. It's almost finished.
Ooh, really nice. You know, I've heard that it's actually I don't know if this is confidential, but like I've heard that it's been through testing now, like recently, right?
Yeah, it's been play tested a lot. The content is pretty much mostly settled. It's just fixing the last few, like all the little things you have to fix, and localization and miscellaneous things like that.
Farewell Medley versus Parabox. Good one, dude. But no, yeah, like fucking Parabox, right? Patrick's Parabox. It fucking popped off on Twitter from when I first seen it. And it was like insane. It was like what, like 5K, 10K likes or some shit from the indie community. I imagine that must have been like really just like insane to see, right?
Yeah, I just woke up one morning and I'm like, whoa. And then I think one of them got like 100,000 likes or something like that. Maybe I forget which exact number it got, but it was like very huge, and that was really fun. Although really winning the IGF Independent Games Festival Design Award is like the biggest honor
Oh yeah,
Super proud of that one.
Yeah, no, I've seen that you've been in through a lot of indie game development events, and it was like really fucking cool. You've been to like multiple other podcasts as well, from what I've seen. And
Yeah.
no, it's just really it's just really nice.
Yeah, and lately I've been making more and more connections to all the people making indie puzzle games out there. Like
Nice.
just talking with people, we play test each other's games, and just making a lot more connections there, and that's been super fun. Yeah,
Just
there's a lot of talented puzzle designers.
just the other day, I seen Terry Kavanaugh actually like quote retweet something that you've made, and I was like, wait, is that fucking wait? That's fab, bro. That's just fab.
That's cool. Yeah, we made
Yeah.
it's like a thing called the confounding calendar. It's like an advent calendar, but where people in this puzzle Discord, everyone made a puzzle,
Nice.
and one's released each day, and that was mine.
Yeah, that's pretty sick. Absolutely. One other question that I do have about that project, and I've always wondered about this, right? Is it way more complex to make a game in any other engine than like GameMaker, or like what do you think?
I have a programming background other than GameMaker. Like I went to school for computer
Okay.
science, so I have a lot more. I'm a lot more comfortable switching around between different languages and engines. But it kind of depends on what you want to make. I really love GameMaker, and believe it's like by far the best at what it does, and it's like perfectly suited for fan games more than any other engine I know about. So, but if you want to make a more general game, like Parabox is very like systems driven, and I wrote a lot of the rendering code myself and stuff. Then you can use that, you can write that in a lot of engines. You're not confined to GameMaker. So, and Unity is great for 3D games. So it really depends on what kind of game you want to make, what kind of tools you want to use, if that makes sense.
Also, if you want to write a server, GameMaker is not very good for that.
Yeah.
Yeah, we can talk about that in the fucking I Wanna Maker session about the servers. We can go on for like hours, dude. But but no, yeah, that's like what do you use like Unity or something? I think it was like Unity or whatever.
Oh yeah, Parabox is in Unity, although that was kind of an arbitrary choice, but it's nice because Unity has a lot of support because it's so widely used.
Really nice. And what else? I think you've also been trying to make like a mobile version of the game.
Not currently. I mean, I have had a mobile build in the past, but I'm gonna launch on PC at first, and then I'll think about other platforms afterward. Is my current plan. So
Nice. You know, yeah, that's beautiful planning then. All right, good stuff. Um, is there anything else anyone else wants to add to that? Like, emoji, no shot.
I'll add a smiley emoji to that.
Yeah, that's fine. That's fine to have a smiling emoji there. Oh, hey, there's a tweet. Oh, dude, I gotta see that, dude. Hold up.
luckily, it's a very gifable game, so that's fortunate. It happened to be.
Very true.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, that is 100 quid. Yeah, no, that's really impressive. Absolutely. All right, well, now that we've got development out of the way, I do want to get into needle development and that topic in general. And I've wanted to ask Peace and Kady about this. Do you guys have a needle style back in the day when you used to make the fucking, the classics, dude, like Jungle Adventure, fucking Reach Heaven? Like, where'd you guys get the needle style? Or I guess if it's your own needle style, like if you didn't really think about it too much.
I don't really know. I didn't really play many Needle games before I started making my own. I guess like maybe Nang was a good influence on me. I'm not sure. Like I think when I made Needle, one of my biggest things was like one, I always stuck to the 16 pixel grid.
Okay.
I made sure none of the spikes were floating. Um, one of the things I like to do was if I had to use a floating spike, I would put a big spike and then two mini spikes on the end of it.
Right.
I was a big fan of Triforces and full jumps. I don't know what else to say about it. I mean, I pretty much just design Needle the way that I thought was fun. I'm not
Yeah, no,
sure if there was a specific influence. I mean, honestly, Reach
Right.
Heaven was a pretty big influence on me, I think, because I really liked that game.
yeah,
And
no,
I
like
think I played that before I made any big needle game.
yeah, like you're one of those guys that like don't really think about your needle design. You just make the room and then you just place the spikes and see where it goes, type of shit, right?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Everyone
that's
has
what I
like a
used to do
different way
back
of
then as well. Yeah.
designing rooms. Like for me, what I've always done is I place down blocks randomly, and then I try to devise a path through the blocks by placing the spikes, adhering to the block layout I've already made. But some people aren't like that. I know a lot of people like think about the jumps and place the blocks accordingly.
That is a classic trend in the needle making industry, dude. I remember seeing a guy who actually goes by your boy Mark Anthony. He used to stream his needle making process, and I remember seeing that for the first time. Like you just put down blocks like into like a random layout, and you just figure your needle out from there. I've tried doing that, but it wasn't right for me, bro. It wasn't right for me.
Yeah, we used to. I remember we used to have this thing where people would put blank layouts for JTool maps, and then other people would fill them in, and we'd see who makes the best level out of it.
Yeah.
And that's also how we designed the needle rooms in Try a Collab.
We have talked about try a collab like before, right? Like in the fucking podcast. I don't remember. I don't know if you remember as well.
Not really.
Yeah, cause like I do wanna. I also wanted to talk about like the amount of like collab you guys do, even for like I Wanna Maker. You guys did the what's it called? You guys have a name for it.
Multi-twists.
Fuck. Wait, what did you say? Cause like fuck.
Multi-twist.
Yeah, multi-twist. That's the name. Fuck, I'm stupid. Yeah, it was the multi-twist. I imagine that's like really fun because like you just make a layout and like you just figure it out from there, right?
Yeah.
No, we didn't really do the screen layouts. It's more. Wait. Oh, you kind of you're given a box, but you can do anything you want inside the box.
Okay. Okay. I see.
And you kind of mimic the layout the previous person did.
So it's like a fucking.
Are we talking about the multi-twist or the micro-twist?
There's two of them? Oh my
Oh
god.
yeah, one
Yeah,
of them does
like
it one way, one does it the other.
Basically, like varied kind of which type of like inspiration from the previous iteration you take. Like in one, sometimes you introduce a gimmick and then explore a gimmick, and then sometimes you like have one room layout and kind of explore the layout.
Okay. I assume like multi-twist is like a bunch of rooms and then like micro-twist is like one room, I assume, or some shit like that. Maybe.
Yeah.
Okay. No, like every time I've seen you guys try to do like a multi-twist in the OR farm, just like I see like the little fucking graphic, right? Like the whole the circle and shit, and, like the arrows. I'm like, what the fuck is happening, dude? It's like some fucking scientist NASA shit, dude. It's like, what the fuck?
It's fun because like the previous person has to leave two objects in the next room for the next person to like base their gimmick around. And sometimes they would leave like a bench or a tree or some prop that has no like actual meaning in the game, so you have to make some stupid gimmick with a tree.
Oh, that's brain, dude. That's actually brain.
Oh, I do have something to add. The original I Want to Try a Collab was going back to Terry Kavanagh. He participated in this collab called Experiment 12, where people made 12 games, one after the other, and they kind of formed a story. And so I really liked that idea, and I was like, how can I adapt that to work for fan games? And then I came up with the I Want to Collab format. We do music, graphics, coding, and then level design. And
Yeah,
so
you made a forum post about it before we actually started on the game. I remember that. Does that post still exist?
Oh, probably.
Your like proposal for the game, because that's like a piece of history.
Wait. Are you saying that Try Collab started from a post?
Yeah, Pat made a forum post kind of explaining the piecewise collab format.
Oh wow.
I mean, originally it wasn't supposed to be a game. It was just like a fun thing for people to do. But
Right.
over time, got a collection of cool stages.
Cool in quotation marks.
Baller. Actually, baller stages, dude.
I guess if going back to the needle
Yeah,
style
yeah.
question, I'm not really sure. I think at first I was just kind of going what I wanted. I usually tried to think of like a layout idea before starting the room, and nowadays I still try to, like, before making a save, I try to come up with an original concept. Like, it's really hard to make pure needle for me nowadays because feels like there's not much you can do. But if I'm working with like a mechanic, I try to think before making the level design. I try to think of a unique interaction I can explore in a segment.
Mm-hmm.
Back then, I don't. That only kind of worked for like needle layout. So I'm gonna use the double jump here, and then I'm gonna need to save it here when I come back or something. The J-tool area. I think both CN1 and CN2 were big inspirations, as they were for a lot of people. Just nowadays, I think my needle design for like Potato Chew, for example, is a little bit outdated.
Right.
In the sense that there are a lot of, I guess, repeated, somewhat common jumps, but I still think they're fun to play because I think the saves flow well, even though they're not like interesting. They still feel pretty good to play through.
Do you replay through your old games often, Kady?
Not nowadays, though. I have replayed through PS somewhat recently.
Nice.
I still do that a lot. Like my old Needle games, sometimes I just boot them up and play through it because I still find them fun, even though I don't even like most Needle games nowadays.
Yeah, for a while I've probably played through Potato Chew like 3 or 4 times, just out of for fun.
You know, there's nothing better than just going back to your old games just for the nostalgia. Like, even if you don't like have like any internet, you just go offline mode. You fucking go through your game maker folder. You got like everything, dude. Yeah, that's just like a fucking buffet, dude. At that point,
Yeah.
it's really nice. But yeah, no, like your needle games, Kady, do look like like the layouts. I do remember them vividly with like the fucking layouts you make. Like, it's almost like a fucking Rorschach test, dude. It's like really fucking nice.
Yeah, especially I think in Reach Heaven, I always thought of a unique room layout before making the room.
You know, that's something that people don't give too much credit nowadays. Is that they don't have like fucking a lot of like block art, just like layout art or shit like that.
Oh, I just unlocked a memory actually. I remember studying the block layout of some of the water screens in Reach Heaven because I thought they were like
Holy
so
fuck.
effective.
Oh.
And I tried to adapt that into because I think I had like a Reach Heaven area in Crimson Ripoff, and I was trying to
Yeah.
copy your block style, and I thought it was really good, and I think I kind of borrowed it for future games.
Yeah, I remembered that area in your game.
Even that one screen from Reach Heaven, like in Culture 2 and like the Biff boss. Like that fucking shit. That layout was like really good. Like the way you use the jump refreshers and shit like that.
The
It's, like,
jump
very creative.
refreshers.
Really, really creative. I love that shit.
I love watching people fall and have to redo that whole.
People really have a hard time getting that first jump refresher.
Yeah, it's an absolute classic. Yeah. But yeah, no, like fucking let's go on to the next topic. Let's go on to actually a pretty relevant topic nowadays. Let's actually talk about the I-1 attorney, dude. Talk about how hard it's been popping off, and it's actually been doing quite well for the amount of weeks it's gotten. Like, what, this is like week 5 or some shit. It just started, and it's like a huge needle game right now.
Yeah, I mean, I was a little skeptical when Ars said they got the games, but you know what?
They
They
got
got
the
the
games,
games.
dude. Yeah, they got the games.
They do have the games. Yeah, it's been really, really cool. Uh, Props to Arts for organizing it. It's been amazing seeing all the new games coming out and people playing through them.
Yeah, no, like it's also been like fucking like more than 75 people like on the leaderboards like every time now. It's like really fucking impressive. Like really, really nice. I hardly get like more than 75 people voting in the Fangame Awards. Like that's how hard it is to get like 75 people for something. I think that tournament is actually a really huge success, I would say.
Yeah, I'm proud of them for getting it working. I think it's really good for the community.
Yeah, I've also seen you say this a lot, piece that like the I Won attorney also has like fucking revitalized your boner for fan games.
Well, I don't know if I'd say that, but it's it certainly made me enjoy playing the games, having like kind of, I don't know, some kind of incentive to finish it, even if it just means my name on a like 20th place on a leaderboard. But yeah, it's been fun. I like the games a
Did
lot.
you even play the avoidance game?
I did. I did play that.
Wow. Yeah, no, that it went hard then. Holy fuck. Really nice. That's also something that I've also been through. I've also been participating in the I Won attorney, and I'm feeling the same way Peace has been, dude. I don't know about you guys, but like fucking. I would say that it has revitalized my boner. That is something that I would say.
You
That's
go that
very
far?
good to hear.
I don't know
Yeah.
if I would go that far, but you know,
But
may have given me a little bit of a stubby, maybe not a full one.
But yeah, no, like fucking shit like I Wanna Save My Ship and shit like that. And the most recent game from what's his name? The ANX guy. That shit is impressive.
Oh yeah, Angsa.
Yeah, Angsa.
I still didn't play it. I have
I
like a
still
couple of games I missed out on.
I didn't play it either because of things, but I've heard a lot of good things about it. I heard a lot of good things about it.
It's great.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know if this is public information, but like Arst described it to me as his favorite game in the tourney, so even before it came out, I've been hearing good things about it.
I haven't been playing all of the games that come out, but it's been fun, like just seeing the community kind of all kind of come together once a week for it. It feels like it's one of those things that is bringing people together, I guess.
Yeah. It's always the big ass events, and I think this is like one of the only Western tournaments that has happened actually. Aside from what was the Yo Sniper things like? Were those tournaments or am I trolling?
They were game making contests.
Oh, right. Yeah. In that case, I don't think we ever had a Western tournament like this, right? Oh no, fucking
Soulless.
Soulless, yeah, Soulless, yeah. Really nice. But yeah, no, yeah, like even the quality of the games have been like really fucking good. I don't think I've played a game. I've played all of them aside from the last week and this week, and all of them has been like really fucking good. I would say like more than 7 out of 10. I'm like absolutely,
Yeah,
I'm very happy about that.
and I've enjoyed how they've kind of kept the difficulty around like the 50 to 60 range
I
for
agree.
most of
I
them.
agree.
Because I feel like kind of a trend lately has been making really hard, like 80, 90 difficulty needle games for the fucking leaderboard Hall of Fame, whatever. I'm not about that.
That's a whole different bag of worms, bro. But fuck, I lost my train of thought. I'm done, dude. But yeah, no, fucking I'm really glad that people are trying to keep going with these events. we've been doing like fucking a fuck ton of events lately. Honestly, like the tournament, like this podcast is kind of an event. The Fangame news, like all these sort of things, like really fucking nice of the community to start doing things like these. And yeah, huge props to Ars and the other organizers and the makers behind the scenes. Like we had Ars on the fucking podcast, and he was like fucking, giving the juice of like fucking I want attorney, and it was a huge reveal, dude. It was a huge reveal, huge. And I will say that it's like really, it definitely has rolled. I don't know what else to say.
Yeah, I agree. I think it's been a big success.
Yeah.
Very
We
cool.
got the games.
I play tested one of the still upcoming games, and it's a good one. So
Oh my god, dude! If Kady's tested, it's gotta be a juicer, dude.
Is it balloons?
It's gotta be a juicer.
sadly, I hate to say it, but it is not.
You'd have to give everyone like a month to finish that.
All right, well, let's go on to the next topic. And this is something that I've always wanted to ask, like always wanted to ask about this. And this question goes on out to Patrick, actually. I want to ask you about the creation of JTool, dude. The huge software of the community. How did that come about, bro?
Well, I saw RMJ record. I want to record my jumps by Geezer, and I was like, "This is really good. I see everyone using this, but like, there's just a few quality of life improvements that I want to make."
Mm-hmm.
And so I made them. And that was fun. Actually, I was like streaming development a little bit at the time, so I streamed development of that. That was a lot of fun, getting like suggestions and stuff. Kady, I think you gave me some suggestions, although it's hard to remember. It's been so long.
Sounds likely.
Yeah. I do regret, of course, like I wish I made the source code more organized, but I just didn't know better at that time. It was a great learning experience for me. I enjoy making tools like that, like in programming technical things. Pat's lying. He looked at RMJ and thought, "This is such a piece of crap. I thought I can make a better one." Not quite like that piece, but well, so now I have I want to make her instead.
But yeah, no, fucking JTool has influenced the community so fucking much, dude. It's actually insane how making such a simple piece of software could go a long way, dude, in the community. Really huge.
Yeah. Apologies if you can hear this dog barking.
That's
But
fine.
maybe it'll be okay. There's a forum post on the I Want a Community forums where I posted JTool when it was released, and then like the first response is Kyer saying like, "This is really cool. Although I hope this doesn't make us descend further into needle hell."
Oh my
Well,
goodness.
I'm
Is that
What
true?
happened? Yes, you can go find it. It's like
Oh
extremely
my
prescient
God.
comment.
Yeah. Well, Tyre would be disappointed. J Tool just spawned like a new like generation of fan games, pretty much.
That's
Yeah.
why he's not here anymore, bro. It's true.
So it's not something I can blame myself for, but it's something I can learn from because I love making tools and tool like adjacent things like I Want to Maker, and it's because tools really shape what people can do and how people think about creative things, and most of the time that's good. But anyways, it's a learning, something to think about.
You know, JTool is definitely like a fucking very good creative outlet. Absolutely, I would say so.
Yeah, I love just noodling around, just making some.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it made it accessible for a lot more people to just make their own maps and needle. They can start making fan games before even like learning the game maker.
And then use the Game Maker import tool.
Yeah, the import tool, I made it for Indigo Needle, which is my game, because it was convenient for me, but then it kind of encourages you to just import stuff,
I wonder if there's like because it's so much easier to like immediately playtest in J2. I wonder if that had like an effect on maybe just needle quality, because having to compile to test your jumps is like hell in certain circumstances.
Yeah, I bet it had positive and negative effects because it certainly you can make things more precise and fine tune things, but that's a double edged sword.
I think the negative effect is that because it's so easy to like temporarily save yourself and teleport back, people tend to test jumps one by one in JTool just to verify that they're possible, but then they don't actually like look at the actual balance of the save. And because they know it's doable, they just import it and ship the game out without really giving it a go, like from save to save, like you would in Game Maker.
Oh, yeah, that's definitely a JTool classic of making an entire screen and then sprinkling saves throughout afterwards. But even though, like, yeah, you probably should care, like, what jumps you start a save with and such.
Yeah.
Like, there is a lot of nuance to, like, like full jumps, for example, are getting a lot more, I guess, scrutiny nowadays than they used to.
And also, like when you're making a save by like being able to test jumps individually, even if you test the full save afterwards, you will still have like the knowledge and muscle memory for that jump already built up. That's why testing is important.
Yeah, like, you
Yeah,
can't
for
test
sure.
the learning experience.
Yeah.
'Cause I think when I used to make Needle and Game Maker without JTool or anything, I would build pretty much the whole save without testing any jumps, and then I would load into the game and try to beat it. And if one of the jumps like really sucked, then I would change it and keep going. And I guess that kind of emulates the experience of playing it blind. So I feel like that was kind of an effective way of balancing it.
A classic way is just fucking make the entire save, and then when you run the game, it's actually like fucking impossible. Like the first jump is just impossible.
Oh yeah, that happens all the time.
Yeah, that happens all the time. Oh, there's fucking miscalculated the block jump. It's like, okay, dude, it is what it is. But yeah, no, the convenience of JTool is like fucking insane, dude. Actually insane. I got. I'm sorry, I fucked that. I farted. But yeah, no, fucking Okay, I'm done.
That fart
Okay.
just destroyed your brain.
Anyways, dude. Anyways, dude.
You can do it.
Yeah, I don't think I can. But yeah, no, like fucking really easy to test your saves. I do like the fucking the hotkeys that you have in JTool, like the warp and stuff like that, and the saving. Really convenient.
Yeah, for sure.
Like if you were to do that in Game Maker, you just have to fucking wait like 10 minutes just to like fucking compile. And then like, cause like the way I make Needle, right? Like I just make a single jump, and then just test that and just like go on from there. Because as I've mentioned before, like every time I make like a full save and then test it out, I end up making like fucking impossible shit. And it's just like, oh well, yeah, that's kind of disappointing. Now I have to redo the entire save again. It's like, okay, dude.
I mean, thinking back to RMJ, which didn't resize the window, like it still stayed 800 by 608, and so to get to the item or like object picker, you had to press escape every time, I think.
Wait, for what game?
Record my jumps.
Oh, true. Yeah, true.
Changing objects just like took like 3 seconds longer than it would in JTool later on.
Yeah, the higher resolution was a game changer.
Digital even has like fucking like a lot of quality of life stuff. Like fucking, I think it can like map a hotkey to like like an object, and like you can press it or some shit like that. Or am I thinking of Maker? Yeah, that's okay. Yeah, that's Maker. Okay.
Yeah, it started out with just a few quality of life improvements I wanted to put into JTool, and then it just kind of snowballed and added a lot of quality of life improvements as I realized I needed them.
I imagine that you
Also-
took yeah.
No, you go ahead.
No, I was gonna ask that. I imagine that like you took JTool, and then you use that like as the base for the I want to Maker editor.
Not any code was shared, but certainly conceptually, like the whole sidebar thing. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, go ahead, peace.
It's worth mentioning also the skin feature in JTool. Like that, I feel like that was like really big for needle game visuals because people would like share these large archives of JTool skins, and then people would just take those and use them in their needle games. So there's like a lot of shared visuals because of the JTool skin feature.
It's happened to me twice at this point that I've shared a skin in the JTool channel, and then months later, a game comes out. It's like, hey!
Look at my cool graphics.
Yeah, that was a fun feature to add. I thought, because some software has like skins, you know, like Winamp or something like that. So I'm glad that turned out well, that people liked it.
I remember I was one of the first people to put together like a collection of JTool skins, and like that original like collection that I shared, like I've seen those skins pop up so many times in a whole bunch of Needle games. Just because people like they see them like, oh, I like this skin, I'll just put it in my game.
I remember back in the day we used to have like this insanely huge forum post that was like like 5 pages long worth of like JTool skins. And I remember like back in the day, he used to like lag my computer and shit. Dude, it was like that hard, dude. It was really cool. Yeah, like even nowadays, you have like a fucking entire like zip folder of like 1 trillion JTool skins. It's really nice to use. Alright, let's get on to the Pog, dude. Let's go into the Pogmans of the episode that we've all been waiting for. And we've actually reached this in under an hour, which is honestly pretty impressive. We've done a pretty good job so far. Let's go on to the maker section of the podcast, dude. Got the elephant crew. Let's fucking go into the Pogmans of the episode. All right. So I want to make it, right? Huge, insane, like wow, dude, like actually insane. How did it all start? I want to make your production.
So after we finished Run the Marathon, I think we like really enjoyed the development process of Run the Marathon. It flowed really well and we had a lot of fun. And so we kind of decided to make another game. And we created a group for that. And I guess Peace had mentioned to Clayson, like before that even happened, like during Culture 2 development, that like just shared some ideas about a Fangame Mario Maker.
Yeah, I think what happened was I was excited when Mario Maker first came out because I thought it was like a really cool idea. So I was talking to Clayson like, hey, why can't we do this with fan games? And then Clayson was like, yeah, that sounds good. Why don't we start on that after Culture 2 is done? And then we promised to start it after Culture 2 finished, and I guess we did.
Yeah, and then in this like group we had one day kind of out of nowhere, like we talked a little bit about it, just passing, and then Clayson just kind of dropped like early prototype of like logging in and stuff like that, and had like some basic stuff in, and then people started getting excited for it and contributed in different ways.
Right.
Preparing for this podcast, I actually went back and read like the chat log at the time, and after like 2 months of work on it, we had like a 6 month break, just right at the start. And then we would come back and work a bit more on it, and when it really started like getting off the ground was after the first showcase we had in Fangame Marathon. Like getting prepared for that, and after that, I think that really motivated everyone, got all the developers excited to work on it. I think Pat became more active, and
I forget.
yeah,
Didn't you guys also have an I want to make your showcase in like this huge event like Games Done Quick or ESA?
ESA, I think.
Yeah, that was in early 2020, and we decided we would coincide the launch of the game with that. or the early access
Oh
launch.
wow, really nice.
Going back to Kady, the first Fangame Marathon showcase, that was also an important milestone because that's when Yo-Yo jumped on the project after that showcase.
Nice.
Oh
nice.
yeah.
Yeah. Yo-Yo's been one of the main contributors.
That is actually interesting. I would have expected Yo-Yo to have been like there from the start.
Before that it was Clayson, and then Clayson slowly took more of a lesser role over time. I guess we didn't really ask many people. Yo-Yo just messaged us like, "Hey, can I join?" And we're like, "Yes." So that's how
Yes.
well, we said yes, please, or I don't know. It was like perfect. So
Yeah, I think maybe we like said in the showcase that like if anyone's like interested in joining. I don't know if we said something like that. Maybe.
Yeah, you guys
But
have told me that that Yo-Yo is like part of the backbone of the I Wanna Maker developing team. Well, what kind of stuff does he do that is like Poggers now?
Yo-Yo pretty much single-handedly coded that like the level lobbies thing that we just introduced like earlier this year, where like you can see other players in the same level as you.
Oh wow.
he works on a lot of the like big gameplay features that the game has. Pat, he doesn't usually work too much on the like server side of stuff, but yeah, I'd say he's like the main feature developer of the game. And I guess not very related to this, but I want to mention that Clayson did a lot early on, both in terms of like the base of the editor and making the server, all the login and account stuff that I guess he had experience from Delphi.
And then
Yeah,
that's
Clayson-
where yeah.
He really got us off the ground.
yeah,
Yeah, and that's where you guys were mentioning earlier that like fucking making a server in a game maker was an ass experience. But I'd imagine that Clayton had to go through like the fucking meat of that part of the development.
yeah. We use a language called Go for the server. I think that was Clayson. That might be his first time using it, but it's a kind of a popular programming language, so it's a good one to learn for the server.
I'd imagine a server working like in I Wanna Maker is like actually really fucking hard now.
It's funny because like conceptually there's not too much that's super complicated going on. Like it's not much more complicated than you think, but it's just so much code you have to write to handle all the special cases
Right.
and errors, and so it gets to be a lot of work.
Like every
also
new yeah.
I think also like debugging server stuff is really hard. Like finding where the problem is and trying to fix, like why is it not connecting for this random person.
Yeah,
Yeah, because like I imagine it's like only like a few people in the team that do know how to like figure out the server issues and like try to like fix it and shit like that.
Yeah, I'd say it's mainly Pat nowadays. Yo-Yo can do some stuff. He has done some stuff in the past, but I think Pat is the big one. And sometimes Clayson. Not so much nowadays, but in the past, Clayson still helped a lot with some server stuff.
Okay. One question I actually did have, that I was actually pretty curious about, is that you guys started making I Wanna Maker, right? And I imagine it was like pretty bare bones at the start. It was like the whole idea and shit. But nowadays, would you say that you've pushed the limits of Game Maker with I Wanna Maker, or is that not the case? You guys think?
we are definitely running into the limits of GameMaker with performance. A
Just
lot of
stack
objects.
32 cannons and crash the game.
Yeah, that one's hard to fix. The recursion depth with 32 cannons inside each other. That's a GameMaker
Oh
issue.
my goodness! Right.
But yeah, performance, just memory. Like, there's also weird networking quirks that are just because of GameMaker that we can't really do much about because it's GameMaker and we can't change it. Things like that. I think Game Maker Studio 2 has better performance, but I don't think we have plans to upgrade it currently. So
Yeah, it would be so much work.
yeah.
Yeah, because I want to make yours in Studio One, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, porting that would be fucking. That'll
Another
take like months, dude.
another limitation is that because Maker has a lot of like UI systems and systems that interlink with each other, the Game Maker language is not really suited for that. You don't have a lot of features that more common, like modern programming languages have that help with like.
Yeah, I would
to make
imagine you
it
guys have
easier
like a
for
lot of extensions for that game making project to like make everything work.
A few, but we don't use that many other external libraries.
Okay.
But yeah, I wish
It's
we had
also
data
part,
structures.
like, I think, like, despite being quite far from the kind of usual fun game, like, technical structure, I think Maker pretty much kept most of the, like, I don't know, L needle nuances.
Yeah, that
And
was intentional for sure.
even I still like even GMS2 works different enough under the hood that some of them don't carry over, I think.
Oh,
Like it,
Oh,
there are some. I think the collision system is somewhat reworked, and like I don't think that is a truly faithful GMS2 engine, really. So I guess it's like safer to really keep it in GMS1, but yeah, porting would presumably be just hell for that.
yeah, it would be.
yeah. We ended up rewriting, like me and Yo-Yo, I think both rewrote the collision system to work with moving blocks, which is like a huge thing, tons of edge cases. But still, a lot of the Fangame tech, like V lines or V strings, or sorry if I'm butchering the term, vertical subpixels, that's preserved because you would feel it if it's different.
Yeah, I think when I first like read the Meditorson's blog post on moving objects and like I tried to make my fun game engine, I very quickly like stopped trying to preserve like V strings. So like even if you know what you're doing later on, it can still be just like really difficult to have to bother with.
I'd imagine it's like really hard to make your own like the physics like coincide with like the usual fan game physics. I imagine that was like
Yeah,
some
like
sort of challenge to you guys as well.
A bit, yeah.
Yeah.
there's like first there's like all of the code, like all of the obvious stuff that it's doing, and then there are the game maker like internals, like how it's rounding numbers for collision and stuff. And
Yeah.
if you want to remake that then like I don't know, ask Renex.
Bro, I feel like I've tried doing that before, like trying to make my own engine and shit back in like 2014, 15, and that's when like I didn't know like any game maker coding or anything. So I was like, I was like a bum, right? I was just like a bum, like a game making bum, and I was trying to make like an engine. And here's what I tried to do, right? I tried to copy all like the sprites and shit. I tried to copy all the objects, and here's what I did. I literally just control seed and fucking control V the fucking project, dude. And the worst part is, dude, that it didn't even fucking work the same way, dude. That's the funny shit, dude. That's the funny shit.
Engine.
Bomb engine, dude.
I think I tried to do something like that when we first started using Studio, and there wasn't really a Studio engine. I think this was even before KS engine came out. I basically just went into U2 engine and copied all of the modules over and just prayed that it would work, and it didn't.
Yeah.
I got sad.
Yeah.
I think I remember a KS engine which like part of its showcase rooms where I think shaders and that's still like so out of place to this day. No one really like includes this any kind of shader support as like part of the core engine. I think that was KS.
Right.
Yeah.
But yeah, no. Coming back to the limits of Game Maker, does this actually change the course of the way you guys developed that Wanna Maker in sort of a way?
I think in a, like subtle ways, maybe like the room size limit was largely determined by performance. If you get bigger than 4 or 6 rooms, you really start having performance issues if you fill that up. We had to put in special code to detect you can't upload this level if you get low FPS. But then there's still problems if you have a really good computer. Then you upload your level and people with bad computers can't play it. We've just sort of accepted that. Also, the event system, like there's object collision events that are like quite performance intensive, and we wish they weren't, but so be it. That's why we have to add the object activator objects, because those are less intensive on performance. A bunch of little things like that.
And is that the way you guys? Because I think in Awana Maker you can make like way more than like 4 rooms now, right? You can make like 8 rooms or something like that.
We upped it from 4 to 6 after we determined that would be okay.
Okay, that's really nice. Is there any was there any point in time where you guys actually had to like rewrite code to like fucking like circumvent performance issues and shit like that?
I mean,
Definitely. There's been a lot of optimization as we go, like adding object activators and just a lot of the events, collisions. The push blocks are extremely slow, but because they're so complicated, there's so many edge cases with push blocks.
Right.
just from the user experience, there was a jump between beta and early access in performance.
Like it got slower, you mean?
Background blocks in beta were a death sentence because of how many you needed and how much performance they took.
Oh yeah, I think it was Karath who like grouped all together all the spikes who has no events, just group them, put simple versions. Same with the background tiles.
Isn't it like all objects now that like do have duplicate versions? Or like
I don't
eventless?
think so.
No, okay.
But yeah, something we haven't mentioned. Kuref has done quite a lot for the game. Like he has developed a lot of cool features, did some optimization. Like push blocks, I think was mostly Kuref that implemented it.
Yeah, and walkers.
Yeah.
Yeah, just to list off all the people. I mean, well, I guess there's a credit section that lists off actually all the people. But Karath has done a lot of work. Plasma has done work here and there, as well as advice.
He's done a lot of moderation, which is really important.
I think Plasma has said that he intends to work on Maker more after Balloons, or like at least wishes to. But also that's probably it's a bunch of time, so plans can change.
He might mull that it's not in GMS too.
Oh no,
Maybe
yeah,
he'll
for
be
sure.
more important. Just list off more people. Alex Tralexium has been doing pretty much all the art for new objects and stuff like that, which has been really cool. And before that, Dribix did a lot of art for us.
Huge artists. Huge.
Yeah, that's been great having those visuals.
Dribix is the father of the Crusher.
Yeah. As well as all the people who did visuals for the competitions. Those are really cool.
Thanks.
But yeah, no, like fucking So as for the reception of I Wanna Maker, right? Did you guys like envision I Wanna Maker to be like this huge like fan game, like that actually becomes like actual international news, CNN type shit, bro?
Like I expected it to be only pretty popular in the Fangame community because it's a tool that has value.
Right.
But the number of like reviews on Steam right now is still so crazy to me.
How many are there?
Like 2,300 or something.
Whoa! What?
It has like more than some decently popular indie games, and yeah, it's pretty crazy how many new people come in. That part I didn't really expect.
Yeah, I wasn't really expecting the Steam release to be as like influential as it was.
I mean, I feel like at this point, Maker is probably like the biggest fun games gateway.
Yeah. It's definitely. I didn't think it would be in the thousands, like the reviews, the amount of reviews. I thought it'd be like in the hundreds.
Oh, it's 2,700 actually.
Jesus Christ.
Yeah, wow.
Yeah, no, that's wow.
And it feels like it's like it consistently, Like it doesn't go up super fast, but it's consistent. It feels like we're always having a few new players. I guess maybe because of the nature, like it's a free to play game, so new people are always trying out. But yeah, I'm really happy in general with like the retainability of players. Like that people are still
Oh
interested
yeah.
in the game. There's you still always like see multiple levels an hour, and yeah.
Yeah, you guys basically just spawn like an entire new like sub community or like a community even. It's like fucking
Yeah, for sure.
yeah. Dude, Peace, I actually got a question for you, bro. When fucking what was your reaction when Northern Line played I Wanna Maker, dude?
I could not fucking believe that.
I knew you would go fucking ape shit, dude, from shit like
And then
that.
he immediately went into the popular level and started playing some of the like really not great easy levels that everyone upvotes, and that's pretty much all he played.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness.
But I mean that was crazy. Still, that video, like Northern Lion is like
It just
one
came
of
out
my
of
favorite.
nowhere, dude.
He's like one of my favorite content creators ever, and even just for him to give the game like a little bit of attention for like one video is still kind of crazy. It also reminds me of when fucking Markiplier played Run the Marathon.
Oh my god. And he finished it on stream.
He did. He did go through it all. It's true.
Legend.
He is a legend. Yeah, fucking the general reception of I Wanna Maker is stellar, dude. I would say. I didn't even know the reviews were in the thousands. That's actually insane. There's even been like articles and shit like that I've heard like from big like gaming whatever the fuck networks. Like fucking I think Kotaku wrote like an article about it. Like, oh dude, the Mario Maker, but for I Wanna Be the Guy, dude. It's crazy.
Might have been Rock Paper Shotgun. Don't remember exactly, but yeah.
Yeah. But you know, aside from you know the good general reception, there's also like you know like the bad apples, right, of the community, and I've always wondered. Actually, I don't know if any of you guys moderate I Wanna Maker. Do you guys moderate the game or no?
Just a lot of it.
I'd say the main moderation is me and Plasma nowadays, but everyone
Like-
does a little bit. Like sometimes Peace will go in and help. Like Yo-Yo, even Pat sometimes. But yeah, like usually I keep track of like all of the messages in the Discord and look at all the reports.
Is it a hard thing to do to moderate such a big community like that or?
It's not that time intensive. Like generally we don't get like that many reports, and
I think that Discord has generally like chilled out. Like it's mostly regulars in there nowadays.
yeah, sometimes you have new people, but yeah, I think it's a pretty like positive server in general.
Yeah, moderation generally isn't that big of a deal unless, someone decides to really be a shitter. But, we're not going to talk about that.
Yeah, moderation is definitely very important. People check every day the reports and stuff like that.
You guys ever get like funny reports where it's like fucking it's a needle game or it's a hard needle screen. I'm just gonna fucking report it, dude. Type of shit.
I think.
Yeah, there's been some funny ones.
Very funny reports.
Like, maybe this was on the podcast episode, but I've definitely heard Plasma sharing maker reports and how I think he claimed that like most of them are like nonsense reports.
Yeah, there's one here just saying a level. The only message is meaningless for a level.
I'm scrolling through as well, and I'm seeing unreasonably hard.
Yes.
There's no way jump the spikes, smiley face. Low quality. You see a lot of low quality reports.
Holy fuck. Ah, fuck.
I also want to mention the game. I think a lot of the popularity comes from like Chinese and Korean communities. There are a lot of players from like the East, and it's great to see.
Yeah, the Eastern community has been kind of popping off on Maker. I was surprised that we attracted so much of them, considering we only really like advertised it to the Western audience.
Yeah, I wish we had like we could communicate with them better, like from
Right.
but I think it's still really nice, and we have translators that help. Um, making the game more accessible for them, and yeah, I
You
really
know,
love that.
I've even seen like in the I Want to Make Her Discord that they actually got like you guys actually got like unofficial like Russian, fucking Chinese maker communities even. And if you think about it, so it's just a huge fucking community spawner, dude. It's like crazy.
Yeah, it's been a blessing and a curse. I mean, it's obviously great to have this huge community spawn over I Want to Make Her, but it also like suddenly it kind of puts us responsible for like this kind of like really big thing, and we have to like think a lot about the decisions that we make for the game as like how it's
Oh yeah.
gonna influence people.
Ah, you guys got to that point, right? Or you just gotta think about like PR and shit like that. Oh yeah.
Yeah, and also just being responsible technically. Like if the server goes down, try to be as quick as possible because people like playing this game. You know.
Yeah.
Um,
If the
and some
server goes down for even a little bit, people are gonna spam the error messages in the bug reports channel.
yeah, and like rightly so. The server infrastructure is there's some annoying things about it currently, but
I think I
that's been
remember.
one of the big learning experiences.
I think I remember in the open beta, the first time the servers went down, and the answer was, "Well, we have to wait for one of the two people to wake up."
Oh yeah.
Yeah, that's always fun. Pat is on the West Coast, and Clayson is like he's like Central Time Zone or something. So it's like if it's like nighttime in America and the servers go down, it's you basically have to wait for either of them to wake
Yeah.
up.
Yeah, I'd imagine it's not much different nowadays. Like it's
It's not it's the same process, but it's more stable. So
right, yeah. You'd imagine like after there's like a lot of pings in the thing, like people just call you on like the Batmobile or some shit like that. They're like, Pat, you just fucking wake up, bro. But yeah, no, that's cool though. That is more stable now. But yeah, no. Coming back to I Want to Make Her development. Actually, I wanted to ask what was the most exciting part of I guess making I Want to Make Her, dude? Was it the reception? Was it the actual development itself? Or
For me, the most exciting parts of the game were, well, first of all, when we had like an actual working prototype of the level editor and we could like upload levels to the server and play them. Like that was
oh
like the
yeah,
biggest moment for me. Like when we could just, even if they were like shitty needle screens with like no gimmicks in them, it was still, that was still pretty big. And I guess whenever we introduce a new feature or a new like mechanic in the level editor and we just get to see how people use those to make new levels, like that's definitely the most exciting part for me.
Yeah, any of the releases, just seeing people play the game and getting like this influx of players. Whenever we have like when we went into beta, when we had the public release, new updates, those are always very fun. When we released the level lobbies, that was one of my favorite days. Like when you could see other players in the levels.
yeah,
I
yeah.
still can't believe you pulled level lobbies off.
That was all yo-yo, 100% yo-yo.
Yeah,
You pulled through. That was really cool.
Yeah, I remember complaining that I think it was to you, but that I was graduating high school 3 days after level lobbies released.
Oh yeah, it's a distraction when something
Yeah,
that exciting comes out. Yeah.
yeah. I think there's like with Maker there is also just like an impressive amount of like, I guess, culture. Like for a lot of creators, I kind of can trace their influences to other creators that are like in jokes, and it's just like a community, right?
Yeah, like a lot of the makers, like some people just have made like 200 really high quality levels. It's always impressive when I see like some maps. Some people release like weekly maps that seem like they would take like 2 or 3 days to make, and yeah, and seeing how each person influences the other.
I wonder if like Maker Needle as a genre is going to seep into fun games at some point, because like it's definitely like at this point there is this kind of
Is it much different than the usual Fangame
misty
game?
there is a like misty kind of style of combining gimmicks with, I think, like generally like I guess if you if you complain that like fun games have been getting harder, then like Maker has a lot of like approachable, accessible kind of gimmick exploration,
Right.
which I think.
Oh yeah, for sure. Some people like um, SG Wade, if for a 23, like makes some amazing needle levels, like gimmick needle levels. There's a lot of like very standard Fangame needle too, but you know that's expected and also fine if people want to make that. But yeah, some people just make very good exploration of the gimmicks we have, and
There,
I would recommend to people that enjoy gimmick needle to like play some of the maker maps that people put out, because they just flow really well and I'll explore something interesting.
there's a dynamic where the easier your level is, the more thumbs up it gets. Like pretty clearly that's a trend. So it really encourages you to make your levels more approachable.
It's gotten a lot better with time.
Oh, really?
Like at release, difficult levels were a death sentence.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Well, the weekly
But
mix was a good thing for that.
yeah, that's true. And
Yeah, people strive for Pognus. People strive for Pognus, dude.
I wanna make removing dislikes before it was cool, but like not really, but like
I mean, honestly, bro. After I make a level, I don't know about you guys, but like the likes isn't what gets me, but it's like always the people who play them. You know what I mean? The people who play them. It's like if it's like a fucking huge guy in the community, I'll be like, damn, dude, you took the time to actually play the game, dude, or the level.
Especially
Yeah.
now with the online lobbies, like when you finish a level, you just like enter instantly to your own level, and you just like stay there. And when you hear that sound like the wink, you just like it's just like actually fun.
Yes.
Oh my god.
also like I have a couple levels with like records that are very clearly quite sweated hard,
Right, right.
Yeah, seeing the sweaty records is really cool.
I love that about I Wanna Maker, by the way. I love the leaderboards, absolutely.
Yeah, like the combination of like the leaderboards with the replays included, it retroactively makes sense that Maker would kind of have a tendency towards like this extremely distilled difficulty. Like right where like Maker single-handedly, I feel like it single-handedly like pushed some new advancements forward, like achievements. Like there have been a lot of people who kind of just started getting really hard Maker clears that they probably would not be getting in normal fun games, because Maker is just like in all its QOL features and like the replay system, which means that you don't have to like set up recording and
Right,
stuff.
right.
Like you
Yeah.
can just go.
Yeah, I talked in Discord that like the needle players are just getting so cracked nowadays.
Like Qberry is a maker player that went to beat FTF ADFless. Washed player just beat FTF ADFless.
They really are uncracked. That's how you said it.
Oh, I want to say that one of the most satisfying things for me is seeing people make complex contraptions. Because I love programming. I love thinking about like computation and programming languages and electronics and theoretical things like that,
Right.
computer science. And it's so cool seeing, because we were very careful about which events we put in the game and which objects we put in the game. And it's so cool seeing it work out. And you can just make things that are way beyond what I imagined possible. Like gimmicks and visual effects. It's just, that's super.
And clear MT's 24-bit address.
Yeah, things like that, yeah.
Yeah, it is really satisfying because, like, we built this system, and then you see other people like using it to the, like, its greatest extent to, make these crazy things that you wouldn't have dreamed of making.
People make some really good bosses in the game nowadays.
Yeah.
It's
And
really
it's-
impressive.
There's totally like no tools for bosses, pretty much,
Yeah. I mean, that's kind of like same with Game Maker, right? You just have like, you don't really like get anything handed, so you have to make everything, but that also kind of opens the options up. Like you can use anything as like an attack, right?
Yeah.
That's true, yeah.
It's something we think about. Like in Mario Maker, you don't have events and stuff. All the objects have like interactions with each other. In Maker, you can kind of make any object do anything you want. And it's always something we come back in like the design, when designing new features, like how much freedom we want to give the player. Like you want some stuff to be predictable for someone playing a level. Like if they see a mechanic, you want them to like understand what it does. But we still want there to be freedom on what people can do with the editor. And we're always like considering that design perspective, I guess, of like how much freedom we give the makers and how peculiar the features
Yeah.
we add are.
I want to.
Yeah.
There's 3 people tried to talk.
You go, Peace. You go, bro.
Shit, what was I gonna say? Oh yeah, I want to Maker kind of sits in between Mario Maker and Game Maker in terms of like the complexity of the editor and like what the freedoms that you have with it. Because our goal was kind of to balance like, we want people to be able to make really interesting and unique things, but also we don't want the editor to be intimidating.
Right.
Because if someone who's never coded in their life loads into the editor and they see all these options for like, adding code to an object, like in Game Maker and stuff like that, it kind of scares them off and they might not even try to learn it. But at the same time, Mario Maker, it's so limited that like you can only really innovate in Mario Maker by the placement of the objects in the level instead of the actual behavior of them.
There's definitely like beauty to what you can pull off in Mario Maker, but like I think there's a tangent about how I think like the best troll level you can make in Mario Maker is probably works better than what you can make in Ivana Maker, but it comes at like such a high kind of skill curve for actually kind of subverting the level editor at this point that it's probably not worth it.
Yeah, and also I think with Mario Maker, like the mechanics of the game support the style that it goes for. But with Fangames, like you have a very strict movement system. You have a very like the objects are very, I don't know, static, I guess. So I think it makes a lot more sense for the way we did. And I mean, I think the results are great. The custom gimmicks that people make are always fun, even the simple ones.
Yeah, and the specific events and we added were specifically only things that are like proven out to be useful in fan games, like an object that tracks the kid's exposition or a spike that slides in and out. And we definitely applied that philosophy, like you said, to in general. Like you code things yourself because that's how fan games kind of behave. There's not a lot of autonomous movement like Goombas
Right.
in fan games. I also linked an article in the chat, which I wrote most of, which I highly recommend reading if you're interested in this. It goes into
Ooh.
detail about this.
Really nice. I'm gonna post it here in chat. I can put it on the YouTube thing later. But yeah, no, like fucking from quacking songs, dude. The duck thing, fucking Dan Salvato's Bad Apple song, Avoidance, dude. Like I can only, if I were you guys, I'd be really proud of that. Like seeing what kind of stuff you can make, what kind of cool patterns you can make. Like even in Avoidance, I haven't seen much in I Wanna Maker recently, but from what I hear from like Plasma and Verve, like fucking almost every day, there's always like a Pogmans, dude. Like every
When
time.
Dan Salvato, when he dropped that Cherno avoidance during like the closed beta, when our level editor was a lot less robust than it is now, like that blew my mind.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It blew everyone's mind, dude. It was fucking crazy. But
I
yeah.
think the first song made in Maker, I was looking at the logs, Egg made Despacito.
Fuck, I thought it was Fortnite,
Wait,
bro.
didn't I make like a shitty Mario song before we even had the pitches?
Yeah,
Did you?
before you had pitches. Yeah, it went quack, 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 crash.
Yeah,
yeah.
Didn't we show that off in one of the Fangame Marathon showcases?
Yeah.
I think it might have been the very first one we showed that level.
I think Big Beat Mario is still online.
Genius, dude.
that's
That
the one.
song is art, dude. That song is art. Was Big Beat Mario put like in I Wanna Maker? I actually don't know.
I think the level piece is talking about was from before we wiped the
Doesn't exist anymore. So I'll try to find it in the VODs on YouTube. Let me see if I can find it.
Yeah, we unfortunately lost all the very old levels because the level format changed, so it was too much work
Yeah.
to port them over.
What of the XML we have now?
It was like it still used XML, but it was like totally different format. Yeah.
Oh.
But yeah, no, like fucking talking about these huge things that happen nowadays, like in I Wanna Maker. I actually wanted to ask you, Kady, about the weekly mix because you're the man behind it, right?
Yeah, for the most part. It wasn't like something that was assigned to me from the start, but
Right.
after the first few weeks, I just kind of was the one that focused on it, and nowadays it's. I think like in the start, Karef did quite like helped me quite often, and some other people too. Peace, a few weeks. Like
Yeah,
Peace
Peace took a
sometimes
few
fills
weeks
in. Yeah. This week lately I've been kind of like busy with university stuff, working on my bachelor thesis. So sometimes I'm missing a few weeks. Like this week, I didn't put one out because I was working on my Secret Santa game. But usually when I miss a week, I try to at least I take the maps from the week I missed and consider them in the pool. So I don't know. Yeah, we came up with the idea just to like highlight levels and give people like a highlight every week. So even if they are not like playing very often, they can come in and like play 10 levels or so to get like a nice condensed high quality set of levels. And another like function of it that was not like planned but is really nice is that you can go back and see all the past weekly mixes, and it's a really nice way to just see good levels from the past, like because I think it's very easy for very nice levels to get buried and forgotten over time, and it's one of the ways to.
You know, I remember hopping onto I Wanna Maker like randomly one day, and I think like one of the levels that I've seen in the weekly mix was like this like shmup that like someone made. A shmup like a voice or some shit like that. And it's like, I was like, what the fuck, dude?
Yeah.
It's like how can people make stuff like this with I Wanna Maker? It's like really impressive, and pretty inspiring, I would say. I would imagine that with weekly mixes, it has also like inspired people to try to like strive to make a level that's like good enough for the weekly mix.
I think that's true for some people, yeah.
Yeah.
Sometimes I worry that, like, we have had people criticize the level picks in the past, and I don't have any problem with that. And like, I worry about the fact that I kind of alone set what kinds of levels are picked for the weekly mix. I don't know. I don't know where I'm going with this. It's just a weird spot where I don't want to influence what kinds of levels people
Right,
like
right,
necessarily,
right.
but and I end up doing that like
Do
automatically just by picking the levels I think are good.
yeah. I'd imagine also like the classic like fucking like really good I Wanna Maker makers like Iron X and Angsa or like they would show up like in every weekly mix. I'd assume. Like I have no idea, but
Yeah, there are some people that show up pretty much every week,
yeah,
and I feel a bit weird because like they are already
yeah.
getting featured a lot, but also it's a really good level that I think almost everyone would enjoy, and so it makes sense to put in the weekly mix like as a playlist that people can just come in and have a good time with.
No, yeah, that's definitely a good thing. Yeah, I'd imagine there'd be like a bit of awkwardness from your perspective. I would assume with like getting like the same maker over and over again, but no,
Yeah.
they're good levels. They're just good levels, bro.
Yeah, we've definitely had group discussions about like should you feature people twice in a row kind of thing. In general, it's interesting to generalize this. With I Wanna Maker, it's kind of there's a lot of facets to it. I'm kind of grouping them right now, and like there's technical things like the tools the editor gives you, and then there's a lot of like policy things or like soft things like the kind of levels people make, the weekly mix, what kind of levels people encourage, what kind of levels people enjoy or play, like the culture kind of thing. So it's
Right.
interesting to see both of those, the technical and the culture, kind of because they influence each other. That's maybe this is getting a little abstract, but it's interesting to think about because the cycle definitely has a lot of influence on people.
Yeah. On the past, like when we just started out, we tried picking like easier levels, because we wanted most like it. We wanted the weekly mix to be accessible for all players, at least in
Right.
the start. Nowadays, I try to pick a few easy levels at least, so lower skill players can still enjoy a few of the levels. But for the most part, I just pick things that I think are good.
Is it hard to try to find like these levels? Like I assume you try to pick like, oh dude, this one's the easy level, this one's the hard level, this one's the long level.
Usually, the process I have is I follow a lot of makers, so usually I play through all the
Nice.
the makers I follow. I check the popular um, list from the last week and play like the top 30, 50 level. Well, at least take a look at the top 50 levels and play the ones that seem like they have potential.
Yeah,
And
eventually you just like learn to judge levels by thumbnails.
yeah, and then I also look at all the levels in level sharing usually. But yeah, sometimes I miss levels and feel a bit bad. Like there are weeks where I will like a few days after publishing the weekly mix, I'll find like a level from the week that's really good. I'm like, I should have featured that, but you know, it happens.
Yeah,
It's fine.
yeah.
But yeah, no, for these levels in weekly mix, do you check I Wanna Make Her like daily, or is it like a fucking one day of the week you dedicate to like take a look at the levels and shit like that?
It depends on the week. Some weeks I just kind of feel like playing Maker some days, and then
Okay.
I'll use that to add them to. So like the way I do is I play through the levels and I keep adding all the interesting levels to a spreadsheet, and then after I'm finished playing, I like go through the spreadsheet and pick out levels. So yeah, usually if I'm just playing Maker, I'll add levels to the spreadsheet. But a lot of times I do it all in one day. Like it takes 4 hours or so, usually, as an average. Sometimes a bit faster. Sometimes I have trouble finding like a good final level to
Okay.
top the mix off. But yeah.
Now, something that I do want to follow up as a follow up question to all of you guys actually is that do you guys have any guilty pleasures when it comes to like levels in I Wanna Maker? Because I sure do, dude. like as an example, I always love rolling these levels in the roulette thing, like the fucking first levels. This is my first level, dude. I love shit like that. I love levels like that.
For me, I'm fond of Crusher Town levels, and
Uh,
I also always play those like coin block idle game levels, even though they're all the same.
Yeah. Yeah. I also enjoy
I
that.
think I tried to make like an in-depth one where I had multiple coin blocks next to each other, one for each digit, so I could go to like 100,000. But what kind of prevented it was that Maker isn't really built for like multiple events per frame or like multiple of the same event. So it was very easy to like get two pickups on the same frame and like get one of them deleted, right?
Yeah, like it only counts one of them.
Yeah.
Yeah. For me, one of the types of levels I really enjoy is like the spot the difference levels. Those are always
Yeah.
those are a thing? Holy shit!
They're a thing in Mario Maker too.
Wow.
They are quite rare, but they are always like
I gotta look it up, dude.
they're just very simple fun.
Yeah.
If you really think about it, like some of these guilty pleasure levels actually remind me of fucking Happy Wheels, dude. It's if you really think about it, it's just Happy Wheels, dude. You got like the fucking hobo sword throw, dude. You got like the fucking spot the difference, dude. You got the fucking coin block shit. Don't eat coin meme.
The auto levels as well.
The auto levels, dude.
Yes.
Yeah.
I'm not really fond of auto levels in Maker, to be honest, because most of them are really bare bones.
They
Not
are,
very
yeah.
visually pleasing.
Yeah.
Some of them are good, but yeah,
Some of the ones that some of the ones that a feral sheep made, like in the very beginning, were really good.
There's one I really like from Regret. That's like the sound effects from like you bouncing on the cannonballs and stuff are synced to the Kirby Gourmet Race like song.
Yeah, I think I remember that.
Regret has definitely had a redemption arc in Maker.
Yeah, his levels are great.
One of my favorite levels in I Wanna Maker. This is one level by Kurath, where it's like this one fucking huge strip of acceleration block or whatever in this huge quarter, and you have like the teleporting thing from
Kid
Co-op.
Cannon.
Yeah, the cannon, dude. I fucking love that that level, dude. It's really fun.
That is very fun the first time you see it, but a lot of people stuff like that.
I'd imagine that a Maker would spawn like a lot of like fucking duplicate things, just like in Happy Wheels. You just make like fucking an original idea, and like a lot of people like copy it for like the likes and shit like that. Hopefully, it doesn't happen that much in Maker. I don't know too much about that.
I don't think people farm for likes that often because it doesn't like increase anything in the profile. I don't think, at least.
Yeah,
I've seen like
like
a couple trends like that. Like there
I
was a
think
while
like
when
the
there was
gauntlet format is like the one that kind of comes to mind, maybe.
there was also I remember someone made this tool or something where you could like
Yes.
import a MIDI into the game, and then you would just have like a bunch of mini blocks that play your MIDI in the game, and those levels got a lot of upvotes. And then there's this thing people do, and they still do it, where like they make this anime pixel art, and then like a really, really short platforming segment in the corner or something that you play, and those levels tend to get upvotes.
Yeah, I like that.
Yeah,
It's just funny how that
that's like
emerged organically.
yeah. Like, Mr. Miss is a person that like started out doing pretty much exclusively that, and then they like started putting more effort into the platforming segment, and then they started branching out, and like you can really see kind of level by level the
Yeah, I really
development
like their
kind of skill.
levels.
I love the
There's just
fucking.
like
Yeah, sorry. Go ahead, bro.
there's just like a lot of like people individually who I can just go into about for like several minutes and like
Go through their fucking history, dude. Their maker
yeah,
history.
like
Yeah.
I mean I've been playing these levels for like 2 years, right? You know,
Right.
people learn and like change and stuff.
No,
You
yeah.
know,
I believe it, yeah.
still you know Stan Iron X, wonder what they're up to.
There's this somewhat new. Now it's been a few months, but this guy on G's Bucket,
Oh, man.
JEEZ,
Yeah,
and he makes just really fun platforming levels.
I went through their entire catalog recently, just all this to newest, and again like you
Every
can
level.
really see like the style. Yeah, all of them. They're not exceptionally difficult. So I think it's like 60 of them,
Yeah,
and like they basically just like they like work with the basic gimmicks, I guess, and then they just start combining them and like see where the platforming goes.
yeah, and they all flow so well. Like it's just very smooth platforming. It feels great.
All right. Well, now that we're actually almost approaching the 2 hour mark of the podcast, we're almost cutting it close. Do you guys have any? I'm prepared to like fucking be told no over this. But do you guys have any intentions to share any sort of like fucking new features that you guys intend to implement on Maker soon enough?
We have a few objects that are close to being finished. Hopefully we are able to finish that and release them soon. Those are like the ones I'm most comfortable with sharing because they're just a few objects. There are some larger features that we want to start working on, but they're gonna take longer, and I'd rather not have it be public for now.
Right.
Yeah.
But yeah, we have like a little creature ghost thing that they're basically shoot refreshers that we're adding.
Okay.
I guess that's one of the things, and there's a explosion block thing. those are the sneak peeks I'll give. If the other people want to say something else, feel free.
Yeah, those are the exciting ones.
You know, I don't want to force you guys to say things when you got like fucking guns behind your backs. Like I don't know how I fucking can do.
It's not like we feel like we need to be super secretive. Like we don't have any contracts or anything, but we also don't want to put the pressure on like the people developing the features, and also don't want to promise stuff that changes or doesn't come out. Like I think it's just easier on us to keep some stuff secret until we are closer to having it finished.
Do you think you can like go into like the kind of team development structure, like, because it's, you're kind of either like organized and like regularly working, or you are just like a bunch of people who kind of sometimes work on Maker, sometimes don't, and like I don't really know Like,
We're
where in between that you stand?
we're just a bunch of people. Like
Yeah.
it's not
Because,
professional at
you know,
all.
sometimes you get like, oh, here's an update with a couple of stuff. You know, 2 weeks later there's another small update, and then sometimes the game goes quiet for like 5 months, and then suddenly level lobbies.
Yeah, I mean,
Yeah, it's like that for better or for worse, but that's how our schedules are and our motivation. So, but we are very professional when it comes to the content. Like we have to keep the code organized, and Yo-Yo is very professional about the update patch notes and things like that. So
Yeah, I'm curious, like how much you can like keep, especially like working as a team, how much you can keep a code base like that under control.
that's a whole can of worms. But that I would love to talk about when we're out of time. But it's Yo-Yo and I have, and Kady, I guess, have some like professional, like computer science, like an experience professionally kind of thing. So we are, and Kareth too, yeah, a bunch of us. So we're able to, and Kalazen. So we apply that because if you don't apply that, the code gets out of hand very, very quickly.
though some people like me and Karef, like when developing games, have a bit more of a lax
You first make a mess
attitude.
and you clean it up afterwards.
Yes.
Or you don't clean it up.
Sorry, that's a bit harsh, but sometimes.
Goodness, Pat.
Joking.
Especially early on, like when we started working on Maker, I worked on like some pretty uh, like essential features like the menus and stuff, and
Right.
I was not a great. I'm not sure I would call myself a very good coder nowadays, but I was a lot worse at the time, and some of the stuff I make kind of gave the other developers some trouble when they had to rewrite it.
Right.
But
We've all contributed our fair share of trouble.
yeah. But yeah, it's not a very professional environment, and I think we kind of prefer to have it that way. We don't want to have working on Fangames feel like a job. It's still like a hobby thing.
Yeah, especially since we're basically paying for the game out of our wallet. So
It's interesting that like
no, I wasn't really gonna say anything else.
the game is like still in early access, and I know that you have like a rough roadmap. But like, I guess I'm curious. Like, I think basically what I would guess to be most likely is that you just kind of keep adding stuff, and then at one point it kind of casually spills over into like, oh yeah, this is 1.0.
We have like certain big features that we want to have finished for 1.0, but we don't really follow a roadmap in terms of selecting what we want to develop. Sometimes it's just like, I think this idea would be cool, and then a few days later, oh yeah, there's a basic version implemented. Alex, can you get us draw some sprites? And then Alex will draw some amazing sprites for us, and some other person goes and tweaks some stuff.
Yeah, thanks for the shield loss event.
Yeah, that was Yo-Yo added that.
You know, that's great. I guess as a final question, the game has been on like like this beta for a pretty long time. When do you guys think that when would it be comfortable for it to be an actual like 1.0 release?
Impossible to say, I think.
Impossible to say.
Yeah, it is funny because like this game, like a lot of early access games, it is kind of released officially. You know what I mean? It feels like an actual release, and therefore it is. I mean, there might be a few major new features that'll change things, but yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, I
Not a
think
huge
Maker
distinction in
like
my mind.
Maker especially gets like development quite incrementally. You know, like the generally, sometimes you have to have like a feature that's like a whole thing at once, like the challenge rework. But there's just like a lot of small changes that kind of shape the game into like closer to what could be considered finished by some standards.
Yeah, so in the past we tried to release like bigger updates like some indie games do, like have a pack of changes and release like a named update or whatever. But I've like a year ago or something like that, we kind of decided to switch to more like release as we finish stuff.
Yeah, like I know
Schedule.
that there have been some like features that were, as I understand it, like basically done just kind of waiting to be like packaged up with something else.
Yeah.
Like,
Nowadays we don't have as many of those, but yeah, there was a time where we had like a big number of stuff waiting. But yeah, I think,
releasing incrementally makes a lot more sense now that we're doing that.
yeah, I think it Yo-Yo just felt more comfortable with that, and the other developers. too.
Right, yeah.
I think like there's also something like how the most recent contest is being also just like, you know, like the tile sets are being released kind of one by one with along every minor update, you know.
Yeah, I feel a bit bad about that. Do you want to say something, Pat?
Yeah,
I was gonna say we feel a bit bad about that, but yeah, we try to do like the tile sets and the music editions like as we go because it makes more sense just to like do a little bit of the work here and there kind of thing. So for those, it does make sense.
From like the user perspective, it's very exciting to get a new toy to play with, you know.
That's nice.
Like,
yeah,
especially because it's Maker, you can get like really far with very little. You know,
I
speaking
agree.
of shield loss, like suddenly custom HP all the way and stuff.
Yeah, we're aware of that, which is it's cool. That's not our goal to try to keep people engaged, but it ends up working out nicely when it does. Like we released a tile set or two, and it feels fun to play with them.
I think in the case of like the contest visuals, it's more than like you're taking your time more than anything.
Yeah, it's just that we ended up accepting a lot of tile sets, and Alex is pretty like thorough with his revisions and stuff. And yeah, it's just a lot of work, and people are busy. That's basically
So,
it.
Dribix is like effectively inactive on the game right now for a while.
Yeah, he has been inactive for a while.
Alex is really our only artist at this point, so the rate at which the tile sets and the spikes and everything gets implemented is just basically when he feels like working on them. Which
So
I
what
mean,
you're saying is Alex can hold the entire game hostage.
no, I don't want to paint Alex as some lazy worker. I mean, he's done, as much work on the game as Yo-Yo probably. Like he's done so much for us for our art assets. So I don't expect him to, make a ton of tile sets all the time for us. It's basically just kind of a little bonus thing for us whenever he gets the desire to work on one of them.
Yeah, I think maybe it was a bit of a mistake on our part that we picked so many winners when we didn't really have a way to properly support it. But they're coming out, and eventually probably. And well,
I'm just glad the cat tiles got in.
Yeah. Hopefully, people don't give you guys much flack for things like that, because like I think it's only fair for people to give you guys like the respect, because it's like a free game, and
Yeah, I feel like at this point the atmosphere in the server has like settled. Like people know that they're in for the long run.
yeah.
yeah, people are very nice generally.
Yeah,
That's nice. That's very nice. Let's have a very healthy community. All right. Well, I guess that is it for the podcast, I believe. Unless you guys have any last remarks.
I have a small announcement to make.
Ooh.
I hope everyone has a nice day.
Yes, dude.
That's huge.
Fucking Pat, dude.
Yeah, enjoy Christmas and
Yeah.
and the end of the
We're
year.
almost at the end of the year, which
Just a
means
week
a
away.
lot of things. Just a week away.
It's just a week away.
But yeah, no, I hope you guys enjoyed your time here in the podcast. I had fun, absolutely. Aside from a few hiccups for me, but
Thanks for the game.
thanks for
Very
the
fun.
game, absolutely. for the huge content for a lot of people. From
I mean, I owe a lot to Maker, right? It's half my community standing, effectively.
I want to thank every person that makes great levels for the game. It's like a big motivator, and also like it kind of justifies the game in a way.
Yeah, but no thanks at all to anyone who makes bad levels. You suck.
Peace is simply not wrong here, bro. He's just not wrong. But yeah, no. Thanks for you guys for sticking around. We actually had we had to skip like 1 week because of other things. But I'm glad that you guys stuck around for another week to actually make this possible before the end of the year. Hell yeah, man. Good
It
stuff.
was a very fun podcast, to be honest.
Yeah, thanks for having me. It was a lot of fun.
Yeah, thank you.
I'm glad.
Hopefully we can have Yo-Yo on another time.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
That'd be cool. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah,
Yo-Yo and someone else for for another Poggers episode, dude. Hell yeah. But yeah, no. Thank you guys for joining us in this final episode of the year / season / etc. I'm glad you guys were a part of it, and I'm glad Chad was also a part of it with like the link sharing and stuff like that you guys did. Few years off before next podcast, honestly, probably true. I won't lie, bro. But no, we'll see. I guess that's it from us. Thank you guys for joining us. Pog. I'm glad you guys. Hell yeah, man. We'll see you guys in in 3 years when we get our next podcast season up and running, dude.
I can't wait.
Goodbye. Goodbye.